Welcome to Hell's Council. I'm your host under the Mayo, and I'm here joined by four personalities from different parts of the modern Doom scene, providing quality Doom streaming content and discoveries of the craziest speed skips. It's Bloodshot9001. Bloodshot, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. A little hot.
A little high?
Outside in the hot. I'm in the Texas heat right now.
Oh, okay. You cut out right as you said hot, and it said hot.
I'm sorry about that. Like I said, on my phone. Apologies, but glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're at QuakeCon right now, right?
Yes, I'm at QuakeCon. I just actually finished up my run. I did the Revelations DLC on Nightmare, and it was a very fun time.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. All right, we also have Ultra Nightmare runner and weapons strategy publisher breaking the game every day. It's Hyperousion. How are you today, man?
I'm good. I'm currently sitting in my room. I'm overdosing on sugar, and I'm getting fucked by the game. But other than that, it's all good, bro.
All right, and from the YouTuber game critic space, covering all kinds of first-person shooters, is KirkCollects. Hello, Kirk.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm sitting in my office all day playing Dawn of the Machine, and I'm happy as a clam with it so far. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, and finally, providing the scene with the highest quality entertainment and commentary is the one and only Hmmmp.
Hey guys, it's me, Hmmmp. I am sitting in my room.
Okay, so no prepared speech or anything?
No, not really, actually. Sorry.
Okay, he's falling apart already.
Okay. Thank you to the Academy.
I'm so nervous, so I can't believe I'm finally talking to all of these famous people. Right. So yeah, that's just it, Yeah,
I figured it would be cool because we ran the Doom Eternal podcast for 2 years straight. That game was had a bigger active community over a long period of time, and there was no podcast for Dark Ages, and I figure this DLC just came out. It's QuakeCon time. There's kind of a new spark in the game right now with the DLC, and I figured we'll get together a group of people that kind of represent different sides of the experience. And now that we have people from different backgrounds, even different parts of the world, I'd like to start by just talking about everyone's personal history with the series. What was your first Doom game? Did you start off as a huge fan? Did you slowly get into it? I figure, Bloodshot, I think your time might be limited since you're at QuakeCon, so how about you start?
Thank you. So I did not have any nostalgia for Doom. I never even really played any of them until, I don't know, 2019. I was sifting through my brother's Xbox One games that he had gotten and never played. And one of them was Doom. And I'm like, I got nothing else to do. Let me try this game out. And just fell in love with 2016. It easily became one of my top 5 games. And I remember I've always been a fan of speedrunning and stuff, but never doing them. I always kind of just did my own thing. And for 2016, I actually tried doing score runs on console and got kind of high, which was kind of cool. But then Eternal got announced, and it looked amazing. I played Eternal, a fantastic game, and saw a glitchless speedrun of the game, and it got me really interested in trying to do that. And from there, that's it. I mean, the rest is history at that point. Did speedruns for Eternal, for Dark Ages, the whole thing. It's been great.
Do you prefer yourself to play glitchless speedruns, or because you publish so much speed tech, but I don't know how much of that is glitch focused, more like boosting off of geo and everything. Do you prefer keeping things fairly glitch free?
Sometimes it's definitely a game dependent kind of thing, but for me the end all is if the game has interesting gameplay, but specifically movement.
Yeah.
I game design wise, I talk a lot about the you could have a game where a character is 2 times as fast, but you just hold W dash, and players prefer the second one because it's more interesting. You give the player something to do with their hands, and it's cool. And Doom Eternal has that in spades. There's other speedruns I've done that don't have the glitchless stuff, and I love glitched runs. I think Doom 2016, Eternal, Dark Ages are all really cool speedruns. but there's something about like the ratio of like combat and intended stuff to fast normal movement to big flashy skips that like they all come together into like a really cool speed run, and that's it. There's some kind of magic to it for me with those games.
Yeah, I think you made a good point to me personally when we were talking like last week about my own review, where you said having more to do with your movement just makes the game feel better. Like you just said, even if the game is literally faster, if all you're doing is holding forward, it's not as fun. And yeah, I think that's a really great point.
Yeah.
So you got in with 2016. That's interesting. Hmmmp, what was your exposure to the Doom series? For all your fans out there that are dying to know.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I also started with 2016 actually in 2018, I believe, and I became completely obsessed with like the Doomslayer's character and the lore and the entire world. And I think I accumulated around like 800 hours before Eternal even came out. And when Eternal came out, I became completely obsessed with that as well, and eventually decided to make videos on it. And eventually some of those shit posts kind of blew up, and that's how my channel got big, I think.
And you took over my channel for a week.
Yeah, I did. I think that was well deserved actually, because you were really, you know, you barely had any control over it, obviously. So
That
I
was
felt
the
like I had
best
to
week
step
of
in.
Mayo content we got.
That was
Yeah,
amazing.
I was about to say.
If you guys haven't seen that, there is a version of my Ultimate Microwave Beam guide that is done by Hmmmp, and it's on my channel. We did a whole thing where Hmmmp like kidnapped me and started publishing his content on my channel. That was an amazing week. It was so good.
Yeah, that was funny. It's great.
All right,
But anyway, yeah.
no, Hyper, what was your exposure to the series?
Yeah, you guys are new gens. I started out in 2003 actually. Like I had a very old PC, like a 48 megabytes of RAM, and Pentium 1. It just had Doom on it, so I played it. It was Doom 2, I believe. I kind of played it for a while, and then I stopped until like 2013 when I found out that Z-Doom was a thing. And then I got back into it. I got to the city levels in Doom 2 and I didn't know where to go. So I resorted to no clipping.
That big arrow on the ground didn't help you out?
No. Bro, Industrial Zone was, oh my god. Like, I think I spent like a couple of days on that shit. It took me a long time before I actually looked up guides to learn how to do the levels properly. But yeah, and the Modern Doom I got into quite late, like 2021.
Okay.
Started with 2016. Got my first UN like late 2021. And then I got Eternal in 2022.
And which did you prefer of those two when you were getting into them?
Eternal, definitely, because I learned how to quick swap early on and just felt much better. I finished UN like over 10 times in that year. I've actually played a lot more 2016 in like the 2024 to 2025 timeline. And then Dark Ages happened, and it's like started out with the Nightmare run, like a base Nightmare run, then moved to Pandemonium, and then finally UN. After my first UN run, I went up to 150 speed. I probably had less than 50 hours at that point. So I decided to grind 500% damage. And I finally got my UN run on 500% damage and 150 speed. And I was not satisfied with the run. And I wanted a better run, so I spent 500 more hours trying to learn how to do it properly. And I just got really good at the game. One day I decided to go back to like normal damage sliders and just do a run to see what time I get. And it turns out I could get a world record. So I just got it, and the rest is history.
Yeah, like I was not familiar with you a year ago in base game Dark Ages, but you seem to have really started making a name for yourself in the Revelations era. So I'm really happy to see you getting some attention for your talent and for your insanity. I don't know many people who played 150 speed, 500% damage Ultra Nightmare runs. Not many.
Back in February, I got my first Max Sliders Ultra Nightmare run. Mm-hmm. That I feel like it didn't go to, it wasn't noticed, right? Like I just don't feel like it got the attention it deserved.
Well, that time, right? It's
Yeah.
the Dark Ages is even before it came out. I had a feeling that it was going to be a game that for a lot of people was going to be just like a big Doom adventure and not necessarily something to stick with and grow a big community around. And so, the fact that you were able to do something so amazing and not really get the attention for it doesn't really surprise me. But it makes sense that you're starting to get seen now that the DLC has come out and kind of, lit that spark again and got people talking.
Yeah, it's been a nice experience for me as well.
Kirk, you're last person on this topic. I am imagining that you go back to the original Doom.
Yeah, you guys, all of you have made me feel real old right now.
Hey, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. These kids.
I think I properly got into it in like 1999. I was always aware of it when I was a kid, but I remember my first version of it was Doom 95 on our old PC, which was, I don't know, I haven't played that version in over 20 years, but that one was cool because it had a drop-down menu where you could open any WAD, any level, jump right in. And I remember I used to just jump around like between all like Final Doom, all those different ones, just trying levels out. And yeah, as I grew up, I've always had Doom on whatever system I've had. I remember my first year of college, which was a long ass time ago too. I had Doom on the iPod Touch, and I used to play it in the middle of lectures. Like that's how crazy old I go back with Doom. And of course, like Doom 3, I played that right when it came out, and just always loved it. It was definitely a slingshot into loving a lot of first-person shooters, especially in like the early 2000s to mid 2000s. And then, I've talked about this before in some of my videos, but there was this, just kind of this long era of first-person shooters where you had, the most popular ones were of like the Call of Duty or Halo variety, and Doom was still popular, especially like in the mod scene. But there was always this feeling of like, that's kind of like the old style, whatever. It's this legacy game,
Yeah.
And then Doom 2016 happened, and it was like, holy shit. Like, I didn't even know you could do this. Like, I didn't know you could still make a shooter like this. And that was just, I love the entire, I truly love all the Doom games. I've been into them since I was a kid, but that was the one. That was like a lightning bolt into like reigniting my passion for shooters, and was definitely kind of like the first steps to me starting my channel, because after that, that's when I started getting interested in indie shooters like Dusk, and then the boom shoot renaissance happened, and that's obviously something I kind of hung my hat on for my channel and decided to focus on. Eternal got me through those first terrible months of the pandemic, as I'm sure it did a lot of you. And then, Dark Ages, and to your point, Mayo, Dark Ages hasn't quite had the community or the reception of Eternal, but Dark Ages has just kind of turned into like, the as Civi would say, the divisive third one that's like kind of quickly turning into one of my favorite shooters, especially with Revelations, like the recent Revelations ad. But yeah, I'm an old fart when it comes to Doom. Sheesh, I remember seeing the big boxes of it at like gaming stores when I was like 5 or 6 for like Doom 2. Like it's nuts.
Have you ever met someone in person who came from what was at that time the modern shooter scene, and then Doom 2016 was their first ever experience of playing something like from the classic era?
Just like a few of my like close friends who just maybe weren't into gaming as much in the olden days, or maybe their first shooters were more of like the Call of Duty of Halo variety. But I definitely had some close friends where I was like, just play this, trust me. And they were like, holy cow, like I've never played anything quite like this on it. And otherwise, I have commenters and people in my Discord who are younger, who are definitely like that too, where 2016 was one of the first shooters they played, and it boom catapulted them into like the boom shoot scene, or a lot of these modern classic shooters, or whatever you want to call them now, or just first person shooters. I think people get a little too hung up on the nicknames these days, but not many. I think and I was also kind of isolated that way too among my friend group. My friend group were not into the same types of shooters I was also when I was a kid, so yeah. even this podcast is unique for me that way.
Yeah, I ran into a guy at a party like 6 or 7 years ago. Oh, just said 6, 7. I do that all the time, and I never even realize that I'm doing it.
What have you done?
But I'm sorry. But I knew this guy from a party, and he told me he's like, hey, you know what game I played? I played this game called Doom. I'm like, yeah. Is that your first Doom? He's like, yeah. I was like, what shooters did you know? He's like, oh, Call of Duty, Halo, Gears of War. And I was like, okay. And so what did you think of it? He was like, it blew my mind. Like he couldn't say enough positive things about it because a lot of these people didn't even know that style of shooter existed. It's not that they thought it was old and outdated. They didn't even know because that style of shooter had dominated for so long by that time. People just grew up thinking that's how it is.
Which is so crazy because, I mean, for you and me, it's like, that's such a big part of the gaming sphere. Yeah. The one that makes me just as happy as that is when I encounter or I see maybe a comment online or, wherever of somebody who played Quake for the first time and they're like, holy shit. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, man, like that's the godfather of like everything we love in shooters right now. That's it. I mean, Doom, of course, but Quake more so if you really kind of break it down. Yeah, it blows my mind, and it makes me, it definitely motivates me to be like, okay, let's keep at this. Let's keep putting videos out on stuff. Let's get more people into this. I got somebody to play Dusk for the first time because of my top 7 boomer shooter video recently. And in the comments, I think he was like, yeah, I just got into Sulaco. That got me into all these shooters. And I was like, dude, you should try Dusk. And like a week later, he was like, it was incredible.
Proteus
like, yes.
and all of them.
Proteus,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. It's the same joy I get out of like when one of my videos gets someone to play like the classic Resident Evil or something. They're like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Yes.
Has anyone else here in this call have you gotten any friends or co-workers or family members into old school style shooters or the new Doom games when they hadn't really gotten into that genre before? Anyone else?
I have tried, but it doesn't really click for most of my friends.
Not that I'm aware for my friends. It is funny, Kirk, you had mentioned the whole like only ever playing Call of Duty Gears and stuff. That was me. I was a big gearhead. And,
got him.
It wasn't even that I didn't know like boomer shooters, but like classic Doom style shooters existed. My granddad had an old PC. I don't know what the specs were because I was like 4 or 5 at the time. And I would boot up Wolfenstein 3D. So I like knew about them, but like Wolfenstein 3D is different from Doom. And so we never got Doom on ours. And I will admit, I was the type of person who played 2016 and like, I was like, oh, this is like really good. Like, and I still love me some Gears of War, but the Doom was like you said, kind of mind blowing at the time.
Yeah, it was a complete different. I mean, it's so funny because, I mean, yeah, like being aggressive, that was so common in those old shooters. And then we got into this era of like, no, you need to hide. You need to get behind cover. You need to do this. And just that simple, the glory kills, of course, but just that simple, like, no, we're going to make a shooting system where you have to keep fighting. If you hide, you're going to die. Like, just bringing that back and making that fun again. There were other shooters around that time, of course, that, had that old school style to it. I think Shadow Warrior predates Doom 2016 by a couple years, the reboot of Shadow Warrior, that is. But I don't know, just it going back to the roots that way, it was nuts.
Also, the large arsenal as well. We had 2 generations where you could only hold 2, maybe 3 weapons, and so Doom really bringing that back that's one of the reasons I liked Resistance: Fall of Man on PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
That felt like a bridge between like the Halo era and the old school era where you still had the full arsenal and everything, and you only could recharge health 1/4, and the rest of it was health pickups. Like that felt like a good hybrid to me. That's why I like that one. But my own story, I'll keep it short. Is my channel. A lot of people who listen to this already know my story. I played Doom a little bit as a kid. I was more Quake 2 and Unreal Tournament was more my shooters, and then I got back into Doom around 2015, actually, just because I knew 2016 was coming out. And like you, Kirk, I discovered GZ Doom, and I went nuts over 2 things. I went crazy over Brutal Doom on my home PC. So I was playing the base game and the Doom 64, Brutal Doom, and all the WADs with Brutal Doom mods. But then at work on my laptop, I had Classic Doom installed, and I would play keyboard only.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was getting both. I modernized brutal Doom mouse and keyboard, high speed at home, and at work on my break, I was playing Final Doom with like the arrow keys and everything, vanilla. It was so I got the full spectrum of experience there until 2016 came out, and once I finally I played on PlayStation first. I was a dirty console player for the first year until I could finally afford a graphics card to get it on PC. And then the rest is history.
Nice. Final Doom on mouse and keyboard. That will put some hair on your chest.
No, not mouse and keyboard. Keyboard.
Or keyboard, I mean. Sorry.
Keyboard only. No mouse aiming.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry, crazy.
So let's transition to the DLC. My first question with the DLC is, how long did it take you to adapt to the spear? Who wants to take this first?
I'll go. Hopefully my Wi-Fi doesn't cut out again.
All right.
So I was asked to do the playtest for Revelations, and they specifically asked, can you specifically try to use the new weapon, which they used in quotes because they didn't want to spoil it.
Real quick, how early before launch was this, if you can say?
This was, I want to call it 2 months before, maybe a month. It was very quick because I was like, oh, they'll probably announce it at QuakeCon. And then they're like, oh, it's coming out like a month before QuakeCon. I was like, oh, that's earlier than I thought. But yeah, so it was about like a month or two before it like released. So it was very similar. Most of like the stuff they changed was like enemy AI and like some
the game's done
stuff.
at
So
that
all
point.
the spear itself was like pretty much done, and they just want to make like fine tuning some things. And I got to the end of Hell's Core, and I was like, all right, I'm starting to get like a feel for it. I didn't have all the stuff unlocked, so I was still kind of like fumbling, checking my binds here and there, but I was like, I'm getting it. And then they threw the shield in. I was like, oh no, because I got overwhelmed. And I was telling people like, I feel like the spear's complicated just with how many inputs and how many specific counters. It probably took me until like getting to the master arenas in Endgame is when I was like, okay, I think I get it. And then once I did the master arena, I was like, okay, I definitely have it now. Like it kind of clicked. I was mainly using spear, and it was very seamless on like what I should use when I should use it. So it took me basically a whole playthrough of just spear, never shield. And it was only because they asked me to specifically use the spear, because I feel like otherwise I would have like done the safe thing of let me go back to shield. That's what I know. And I'm actually really glad I didn't do that because I love the spear now.
Does anyone else have that similar experience of around the time of the master levels it started to really click? I would agree that's kind of how it happened for me.
Yeah, it was the same for me around the master levels. Yeah, the master arenas is when I really got used to it. I remember playing Hell's Core, and it was I was so confident that I could just beat this DLC really quickly, right? Because I was so used to Dark Ages already. But man, that level just kicked my ass for so long because I just couldn't wrap my head around the spear, and also because of that bug with the key binds. My weapon binds were all screwed up, and I just couldn't get it all to work. So it was a real pain in my ass to get it all to master the spear, I guess. Took a while.
I think honestly, just getting the hang of the spear by itself, probably like a map, probably a level. I think it wasn't until the master levels when I started feeling like really comfortable with the spear shield swap. But also, I mean, I know Mayo, I know you were there. I don't know about you other guys, but we were at the preview stream for the game, and I feel like the id guys did a very good job at messaging like, hey, this is maybe how to approach the spear. So I kind of went by their advice, and I think that helped. Like, and I think I might have even touched on that in my review of like, yeah, just go through, like upgrade, like maybe one thing at a time, go, because you really, as far as the base campaign, if you can go through it either shield or spear, like you're fine either way. But it really is the end game where you need to use both. So I kind of did it that way. I feel like, just getting the hang of the spear took me about a level, feeling like, like I could swap between the two, and I was getting more godly, probably master arenas. And now, but even still, like, if I go a couple days without playing the game and get back into it, I still kind of get tripped up on the swap of like, oh shit, like threw the shield out on somebody, and then, how do I get back to the spear? What was that binding?
There's just enough for part of your brain to shut down every once in a while.
Just enough, because like the shield timing and the parries of it are pretty dang like hard encoded into my brain. There is still just like a little bit there with the spear that I'm trying to lock in that muscle memory and for like ever. But yeah, I think again to repeat, probably one level for the spear, and then the swap. It was probably the master arenas when I felt pretty good with it.
And Hyperousion, you're insane in this game, so I'm expecting something extreme. Did you absolutely hate the spear, or did it click for you and you loved it right away?
I hated it until
I
got
knew it.
to the
I
end
knew
game.
it.
Yeah. You wanna know why?
Why?
I mean, I got an accidental UN run for the main path on my first stream, maining the shield. So yeah, whenever I switched to the spear, I was like super unsafe because I'm so much better with the shield. I mean, I was back then, and yeah, it just felt like the spear was weak until you got the endgame upgrades.
Well, they did make the shield weaker. Also, they nerfed the runes through the base campaign. So, why is it that you felt that the spear was weaker to the shield, even though they had already weakened the shield? Is it just because of your familiarity with it?
Yeah, and it's brain dead to parry with the shield. You just spam right click a couple of times. You don't even need to time it.
That's your reason why you ended up sticking with the shield, because it was easier to parry.
It was easier to parry. I was familiar with it. I was much faster with it. Every time I swapped to the spear, I was just having trouble, like gap closing and stuff, because the shield is just an insta dash. I didn't like how it didn't have iframes, like the spear. I just preferred the shield overall. It felt really comfortable and fast with it. But then...
And how long did... Oh, go ahead. How long? Yeah. I was just going to say, how long did it take you to actually make the spear click?
About a week, I'd say. Because I had to get the spear to the same level as the shield, so that took a while.
Does anyone have a preferred route when they play the game? I'm trying Ultra Nightmare right now. I'm slow getting to it, so I'm going early spear or slam with health just for a little bit of survivability. But does anyone have something that they like max out right away, or do you just kind of generally upgrade things the way you feel every time you play?
I was gonna say the joke answer is I don't upgrade anything, but for the speed runs, I don't upgrade anything, which sucks. But casually, when I'm doing like if I'm doing an actual UN run, I always go wall breaker first. I hate the Kako Demon Shields and all the other fences. Wall breaker's just an insta. Like I need that thing, and then
is that not the best upgrade ever put in any game?
My favorite upgrade is actually weird. It's the / execute stuff. Because it makes combat so fast and fluid when you don't have to do like the single thing. You can just like swipe. Like if you rocket a bunch of imps and there's 5 imps there and you swipe, it's so cathartic.
It's wonderful. And they all cut in half.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say I'm like, oh, that's a must-have for UN runs. I'm just like, screw it. It's my favorite. I'm taking it. Like, fuck all you guys. It's my favorite one.
I love that as well.
I tend to get to that one much later because I prioritize other things, but once I finally get to it, I'm just like, yes, you can jump up in the air and then just downward slash Komodo, who's in his glory strike stage, instead of going through the glory kill animation. She's like, he's done.
I forgot about that, but that's like my favorite part is skipping that slow thing. It's just so nice.
Do most people go stab very early to make sure that the arch file can't teleport away?
On my recent playthrough, yeah, because I got that one pretty late in my first run of it, and then I realized like, oh, it can superheat armor. This is way better, especially that armored arch file. So yeah, that's definitely one. But man, I love that spear slam. I don't know, it's just fun. It makes me happy.
Yeah,
so I go for that. I've been trying also that, and I've been kind of ignoring Orbit for whatever reason, so on my latest playthrough, I've been kind of trying to focus on getting good with that. But yeah, the stab and the slam, and yeah, the execution one, those are pretty juicy.
What do you guys feel overall that the DLC improved over the base game? I mean, I know the obvious thing is, oh, the spear's great. Oh, we get verticality, but aside from those things, like, how are your feelings about it? What do you think that the DLC has done better? I'm going to say pacing. I think the pacing of the experience is fantastic.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think for me, the biggest was Just the secrets, not pointing out secrets on the map, and letting me explore and do that. I tend to play these games. I turn off like any compass stuff. In fact, even for the end game, that like mission tracker, I don't think I think I touched it like once to get gameplay footage of it, and that was it. So that aspect I really liked. And then I think this is more compared to other Doom games, but I'm a big fan of the structure that they've been doing. Just kind of having this sort of Metroidvania-esque hub world to explore, I think is something I want them to explore more. And then, yeah, just kind of like having each level split, or each mission split into multiple with the master key stuff, I thought was just a really smart thing for replayability and just made it feel more grand for me. That stuff I think was a big improvement. I think they could go harder on the secrets. I'm kind of on that. I'm of the opinion of like, okay, if you do this sort of thing again in a future Doom, like hide the master key doors, like hide them, make me find them. Don't put them right there at the beginning. But yeah, that's a big one. Just exploration, secrets, and yeah, pacing, like you said, and structure. Like those, I think were just fantastic compared to the prior games.
What do you think about it?
Well, the main thing for me, besides the spear. And you guys might not really care about this stuff, but I thought the story was like way more engaging than the main campaign. The main campaign,
I'll agree with you on that.
Had some really cool stuff going on, but I was just like hooked on the story for the DLC right from the start. Like, of course, the flashbacks kind of drag it down here and there, but like when you're going through it for the first time, it really doesn't matter. It's super cool. And yeah, I just love that they give so much more context behind the Doomslayer and just. I don't know. I was so curious how he got the Praetor suit and about the what's his name, the architect or something. It's really cool that we finally got to see how that was made. That's one part I definitely loved when I first saw it.
Yeah, 100% agree.
I'll admit I'm not the biggest into the modern Doom's story. I think 2016's like storytelling was the best because it was kind of like up to interpretation in certain things, but like. Everything with the Wretch was so well written, or the architect, the Wretch. Like, I know he was in like 2016's lore, which is kind of why it was such a big deal for Revelations, and I vaguely knew a little bit of it. I just think it was handled so well with this, this character that's helping you, and Slayer's like, okay, I'll accept it, and then he gets his like little redemption after the Slayer leaves. It's definitely like a cool moment, and I like the story a lot. It was surprisingly good for like, again, I don't like the modern storytelling as much. And even I was like, this is pretty good. I like it. So.
Yeah, I felt Dark Ages was trying maybe too hard to deviate from what they were already building up with the story. It felt like it didn't really have anything to do with what was already established, which is why I kind of just didn't really care about it at all until Revelations came out.
I like the joke that the normal Dark Ages story is someone's 40K fanfic, and then one of the players, or like a D&D campaign, and one of the players like, I want to play the Doomslayer, and they're like, he doesn't fit the lore. I want the Doomslayer, because like the Doomslayer kind of just is around King Novik and Thera. Like they're kind of pushing the plot there, and then players also there. Whereas Revelations definitely made it much more like, oh, the Slayer's doing stuff. The Slayer's the center of the story, which I think was much better storytelling for Revelations.
Well, and to that point, what are the best story for me? The best story moments in Dark Ages was anything revolving around the Slayer. Like spoilers, when he gets killed and is resurrected, like that part was like, this is amazing. Like there should be more of this in the game, because Novik and Thera were just, sorry Hugo, but they were just really paper thin to me. They felt very, I don't know, I just didn't care about them. There wasn't anything like emotionally there. Same thing in Revelations, the part where you find out how Novik was killed. I did not care. But seeing that little girl with the bunny, man, I was fucking like, oh my god. Like that hit me hard. So I think more Slayer centric is what it's all about,
I agree. And especially with the resurrection in the base game, like you can see like there's a moment where the Slayer looks at what they did, and it's like he has to contemplate like, is it worth being upset with these people who use demon magic to resurrect me, or should I go kill more demons? And he goes to kill more demons. I'm like, there's so much they could have done with the idea of like, these cultists brought me back. They shouldn't have brought me back. I should have stayed dead. And they didn't really play around with any of it. It's just like, he came back. and then he
Very
like
true.
glares at them and then just moves on. I'm like, I want to see like what he would have done like to them off or whatever, you know. But like I agree, it was a great moment. I just wish they explored more of that territory.
Well, especially like you mentioned that too. Like, yeah, he gives when he's resurrected. He like looks over at Varen's right, Varen's son. Then kind of gives him a look, then walks off. And then by the next game, it's like, oh, his son is like a bad guy. Fight him now. And oh, guess what? That's probably going to be the icon of sin later. Like, I was like, ah, man, like a little more something, just outside of lore, like something. Yeah, the side characters, I think they kind of stumbled on with the writing, you know.
I also just felt like in 2016 and Eternal, the story was more. The Slayer did exist inside of it, but he was like pushing right through everything. He was there in spite of the story. I felt like, and in Dark Ages, he's really a part of it. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, like we're supposed to really be involved with what's happening in the world, and then the Slayer is part of that. In Eternal in 2016, even more so in 2016, didn't really feel that way.
Yeah, the Slayer didn't care about what was going on. He just wanted to do. He was just committed to his goal, and that was it. And everything around it, he didn't care for. Basically, I thought that was really cool back then.
Well, it is, and to the Dark Ages credit, it is fun seeing why he's like that in those games. You know, seeing like, oh, this is what. Oh, okay, now I'm starting to see, and I will say, like, just in terms of the lore and some of those payoffs, yeah, it's fun kind of realizing like, oh, okay, so like that particular comment from the con maker in the first level, like, oh, okay, I'm seeing how that relationship started, or, you know, even like the Hell Priests, like seeing just the one and knowing what he's going to turn into, and this is the start of it. Like that stuff is really satisfying. I like those payoffs. But yeah, just the moment to moment storytelling with some of the other characters, it's like, yeah, that's something we can improve on for the next one if they want to keep doing that. So
let's shift from, well, we've talked about gameplay changes, we've talked about story. How about we talk about how the game is being updated right now? We can talk balance, and we can also talk bugs, issues. How I know Hyper, you've been having some experiences pushing the game to its limits. You've been having some bugs. What are some of the bugs you guys have gotten as you've been playing through? Because look, we love these games. This is like one of my most favorite series ever. 2016, Eternal, Dark Ages. They're all buggy games. They've all got some fuckery going on, falling through Geo, systems not working the way they're supposed to. It reminds me of my love of Mortal Kombat. Also buggy games, but they're the ones I want to play.
Modern Doom bugs? No,
there's
what are
no
you
way.
talking about? Flawless
Hyper,
games, totally glitchless.
I want to hear from you first, Hyper. Tell me what's going on with your runs.
Yeah, the game's pretty much unplayable on max sliders, so there's that. My runs get the more unlucky bugs. Like, when was it? Like 2 days ago, I was trying to do UN speed runs, and it was a horrible experience. One time I fell through, like, I went through a wall and then just fell forever. In the chasm, you know where the platinum chest is, probably. Bloodshot, you're probably familiar with that spot.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. I accidentally boosted over the fence as it was lowering, and I went through a wall. And then I got the invisible Baron bug. You know, the leader Baron when he teleports. Sometimes.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Yeah.
It's one of the worst. I think I had it one time in playtest, and I was like,
I had it 5 times.
It was the first time I ran into him, and I'm like, because they added the Nightmare or the Stalker Revenant, and I'm like, they added a Stalker Cosmic Baron too, and they're like, no, that's a bug. Sorry about that. I was like, oh, that's weird. That's a bug. Yeah.
By the way, that can happen in the Master Arena, where the final Cosmic Baron leader is, and that can ruin your event run. I mean, you can restart. You can obviously restart the master arenas, but it just ruins the speedrun. And not only is he invisible, he's also invincible, and he can hurt you. He can hurt you. Yeah, and there's way more bugs. Like, I will never do max sliders with the current state of the game, because you know cannibalism, right? With the rocket launcher, the rocket launcher upgraded self heals. Sometimes it does damage now, and it's really weird. And I have a lot of clips, and I don't know, man. Like that weapon is the main thing you need to use on max sliders, and right now it's just unplayable. I've been playing some Reparatorium presets earlier on max sliders, and like almost every single round I played, I had a bug where my spear would just freeze, and I couldn't dash, I couldn't slash, I couldn't swap back to the shield.
I had that.
Sometimes it happened after a slam, sometimes without a slam. I don't even know how it works. It just pisses me off.
I was playing Ultra Nightmare a few days ago. I was on the Argentinor level Uprising, and I was shooting the cycler. I was holding the fire on the cycler, and then I parried 3 things with the slash, and then the cycler just wouldn't shoot anymore. I was holding shoot, wouldn't do it. It just would not fire anymore until I switched away and switched back to it. There are these bugs with the weapons that I never saw in Eternal, and I guess just because they have more things going on, more systems interacting with each other, and just these crazy things happen. I had I don't know if anyone else had this, but when I got the game, the first time I played it, I had a bug where the objective markers wouldn't show.
Oh yeah.
And horde
They
mode.
still don't show up for me.
Well, you have to reset default in the UI settings for it to you can turn them off, turn them on. It doesn't work. You have to reset back to default, and I didn't know that, and so I played that opening level in hell without the objective markers, and it was fine. But then I got to Purgatory, and I'm in this giant hub, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like,
I had the
am I supposed to interact with something? Am I supposed to go somewhere? I was wandering around for ages, and it just I did not happen upon that staircase that takes you to Hell's Core, and I was just wandering everywhere, and it just completely soured my mood for the game. And then it got to a point where once I finally did figure it out, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna restart. I'm just going to restart the game because I felt like I was going in a really, really bad mood because of it.
I had that after Hell Score when I was live streaming all of it, and I went absolutely insane. There was like after Hell Score, you have to pull this little switch that lowers the water, right? But it's like barely visible. It has this little glowing effect, but you can barely see it. So I couldn't find this switch for the life of me. I had no idea I had to pick up the shield from the center of the hub. So I just couldn't progress. I was stuck for, I think, half an hour while live streaming, and then I finally got to the second level. It was actually insane.
That's so funny. I'm like the complete opposite. I was like, I turned all that stuff off. I wanted to explore and figure it out myself. I was happy as a clam.
Oh, man. Like, the levels themselves, fine, but the first time in Purgatory, I was not happy about that.
Well, my brain might be fried, to be honest, so that might be it, too.
Well, we haven't seen the first official update yet. We've had hotfixes, but hotfixes are mostly tunable things that they can just change. An actual update has not come out yet. We don't know when it's going to come out, but they have dozens and dozens and dozens of bug reports. Some from us, some from people in parts of the community that we don't even know about. I'm sure there's people in the Facebook group. Shout out to all you wackos over there, and we'll get an update and we'll see what they're able to address. Lots of faltering issues, lots of stun issues. But at the end of the day, there's always going to be something, right? We're still gonna randomly fall through Geo because we did a from above glory kill from the back on a Hell Knight on the edge of a step that connects to a rock. We fall through the Geo into the abyss, I don't know how much to comment on the state of the game right now when there is big update being worked on, and who knows how things are going to be. It's not like we're pleading for them to work on the game. They're working on it, but we'll have to see what they're able to do.
Yeah, my experience has been mostly bug-free, actually, and I play at 150% speed without slow-mo, just doing the hardest Ripatoria maps, and honestly, the game works fine for me, mostly. I only had, like, that bug that Hyperousion was talking about where your spear gets stuck and you can't use it anymore, but that was also an issue with the shield before the DLC ever released. The shield used to keep on getting stuck where you couldn't use it anymore until it broke. So I guess maybe it's just something with that weapon slot, maybe? I have no idea.
I've had a similar experience. I've mostly bug-free except for 2, which was the keybinds bug, which I didn't really care about that much because I was kind of happy just to get it, get the spear comfy, like right off the gate. The other one, though, which was a doozy, was I got soft locked on the Astral boss, right at the in the middle part where he spawns like the high level demons to fight you. I beat them, and then it didn't progress. I was just stuck there.
Oh no!
Which was brutal because it was my last run. I basically had him down. Like I had the patterns down. My last run, he beat me when he had like a sliver of health left. So I was like, all right, I'll get him on this one. And then just it wouldn't progress, and I was like, no, I have to redo this again. Otherwise, nothing too crazy, but I don't play sliders up like, on insane levels, so who knows, like I might just be missing stuff, but it's been fairly solid. Every once in a while it'll hitch really bad, but that's maybe like one out of every 10 playthroughs or something. I'll get a bad like hitch. So, I don't know.
You know what issue has been driving me crazy since the game came out? It's the fact that you can go up to glory kill or execute someone, you go up and press F or whatever your key is, and something can walk in front of them, and your execution kick or whatever it is kicks that zombie and does no damage to them at all, and then you've missed the execution. And this is not an issue that we had with glory kills.
Yeah, the
glory kills would snap you into the animation, give you the iframes, and there you go. And then you can run up to somebody here and like, I'm gonna glory strike you, and then you can hit the button twice and miss them twice. And I just it should at least kill whoever walks in front of it.
Yeah, Vagary also has that where it had that. I'm not sure if it still has it, but the Vagary used to have this bug where it was in a stagger state, and you would mash the glory kill button, and it would just repeatedly kick it without actually killing it. It was so ridiculous.
I think I know what that is. I think it's because you know how this game has that kind of frustrating melee buffer where if you go to hit something one time but you mash the button a few times, all 3 or all 4 of those things will start coming out even though you only want one. If you go up, especially if you kill a Vagary or anyone with melee strikes and you've mashed it multiple times, the next few melee strikes will come out and they'll override the execution that you're trying to do. So you have to pause between your melee strike and the execution to pass the buffer. And that, I think that's what causes a lot of these issues.
Yeah, probably. Speaking of Xol Grok, by the way, that Kirk was talking about, I think the boss fights in this game are like the best we've had in the entire series, to be honest.
Yes, I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
I love Merrick too.
They're all good. I think other than I wasn't a fan of the Astral boss's design, but otherwise the fight itself was fun. I thought it was a great move to be like, we're gonna do actually something that's less focused on combat and more revolving around movement and like pattern recognition, which I was like, that's nice. But yeah, the final boss, and then Marek, or however you say his name. That dude was hard. That dude was harder than the Astral boss for me. Oh my god. I think I had more retries on him.
Yeah.
If you want a fun little tidbit about Merrick, in early access, you know that thing where he'll like float with a shield and then he'll like do a bunch of like sword strikes at you that you have to you can only dodge.
The con makers move.
Well, not just with the con maker, even like in phases 1 and 2, he'll just like jump up and like slice. That thing he used to do in the middle of the arena. And it was impossible to dodge. He basically did it wherever he was standing. So if you happened to be at the edge of the arena, you were fine. If you happened to be in the middle arena, you died. There was no way to dodge it from the middle. And that was one of my biggest critiques. I was like, I feel like this is literally impossible. I'm trying like everything and nothing's working. And when I played the release version, I've never seen him go to the center. So I'm like 99% sure that they fixed that, because otherwise it was impossible. I really like the
Thank
final
God
boss.
for those dogs.
Yeah, for the restacking and everything.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah.
That is the one thing I didn't like about. So I liked Zalgaroth. I think that was a very cool fight. It reminded me of Spider Mastermind, which is actually also my favorite boss. I think that one. I like the bullet heli kind of things. And I think they both did it really well, Mastermind and Zalgaroth. My only issue with the three bosses compared to, like, especially Eternals, is there's not many ways to restack. I know you can kind of do the melees, but like sometimes I still think my least favorite thing is when you're next to Merrick. Like if you do a shield bash and then he does the tendril attack within like a millisecond of you getting in front of him. I'm like, that's whatever, fine, okay, cool. To be fair, just don't shield bash him. But there are sometimes where he'll like dash up to me and then do the thing. I'm like, what? Because he's programmed to do it when you're near him, whether or not it's you going near him or him going near you. So it's, it can be rough sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's super annoying in general when bosses have that mechanic where if you stand really close to them, they do this instant attack that just pushes you away, but also deals a shit ton of damage.
Dude, the henchman. That giant AoE blast he has. Oh, God.
That one's my least favorite. I was like, if it was like just knockback and minimal damage, I'd be like, okay, fine. But no, it's like, oh, you're at 5 health now. I'm like, what? Why? But this game's about getting up close, and you're punishing me for getting up close. Like, give me a way to dodge it, or like something. Like, there's something weird here, guys.
And no way to get armor back unless you're shooting him mid-range combat shotgun and that will do shit damage to him. And if you want to run in with that flail, I mean, get fucked by his AoE blast.
I main flail most of the time. It does nothing against him. It effectively does nothing against him. So I feel like there was a lack of ability to restack in those arenas, which I get. It's a different design from Eternals, but I was like, I really like that there was always a fodder that you could like either heal or even the iframes. When people ask me about the difficulty of Dark Ages, while it's not like the hardest game ever, I think the lack of consistent like iframes from glory kills really goes a long way of making Dark Ages a little bit harder than like 2016 and Eternal, because there's
and the lower restack, right? It's a more punishing game, and depending on your build, man, you can be really, really starving for
yeah. Like you just can't restack like fast enough to offset like sometimes I'll get hit by one thing. I was watching a speedrunner play casually, and they were at like 50 armor and 150 health, and they got hit by one archvile shot and maybe like a zombie behind them, and they died. And it was like instant. There was no like red beep beep. It was just like dead. And we were all like, what happened? What, huh?
I feel like this game is full of stuff like that, but
you just get melted. Yeah, like I talked about this in my first review, that you just get melted in this game. You're just dead in a second and a half, and you don't even know what happened to you sometimes.
Yeah,
I think
it's still, it's still fun, but like it just, ugh.
I think it's also because now you can adjust it obviously, but regular Nightmare in Dark Ages has it so that health packs and stuff, they give you reduced health again, which in Eternal it didn't matter what difficulty you were playing on. You got the same amount of health from a med kit, essentially. So they brought that back from 2016, I believe. Which, it just makes it hard to restack on Ultra Nightmare and stuff.
Oh, and on Ultra Nightmare, the Megaspheres don't give you armor.
Oh. Wait, what? Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, the Megaspheres only refill your health. You can only get armor refills from the extra lives, which don't count towards extra lives because you're not using life sigils.
Oh.
I didn't know idea. My HUD is turned off, so I just have no idea in general. But
I found that out recently because I just recently started doing Ultra Nightmare. You guys know I usually take my time to do like strategy and opinion stuff. I'm just now getting to Ultra Nightmare, and I picked up a Megasphere on stream, and I was like, "Is this bugged? What the hell's going on?" I'm like walking over it, and it's doing nothing. And it's because my health was full, and it doesn't give armor.
Was it like that in Classic Doom?
And you've been able to repeat that?
Yes, every time I play Ultra Nightmare, it does that. And
Oh,
I have
really?
had people in my stream confirm it to me that Megasphere doesn't give armor on Ultra Nightmare.
Brutal.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. So that final arena in Hell's Core, where you jump down and there's the buzzsaw,
Yeah.
and then the Archviles come in, and then the champion Komodo. Yeah, no armor for you.
Oh, that's.
I thought Ultra Nightmare was literally just exactly the same as Nightmare, except you die
Nope.
in one go.
Wow.
Nope. No Megasphere armor refill. It is brutal, man.
I had no idea about that. Wow.
So I wanted to ask. We've covered a lot of aspects of the DLC. We all seem to be, pretty happy, despite whatever issues we have that affects our own different ways that we all kind of approach and handle this and experience this game. How do we feel about the future of the series? Would you like to, I get this question a lot in chat. Would you like to see the next Doom? Let's say there is a Doom coming up next. Would you like to see it take what Revelations has established and evolve on that, or would you like to see a fresh new direction, kind of in how the Dark Ages went from Eternal?
Ooh, I'll do this one. It's tough. My go-to for this question is always, I'm happy when developers, especially for long-running series, I'm happy when they try and do something different. It doesn't always work. It can be risky, but I'm happy at shaking things up. Especially if it's something different that still, is true to what the game is, what the franchise is. There's actually a great example of that from the year that Dark Ages came out. Dark Ages comes out, they kind of do something a little different with the series. It's a little polarizing for people, but ultimately I think makes for a great game experience. A few months after that, you had Metroid Prime 4 come out, which didn't do a whole lot new and was kind of a wet blanket of a game. Not sure if you guys are Metroid fans. So for this next one, Revelations, the combat is so freaking good. I want to see it iterated on. I want to see it come back. But at the same time, man, if they have an idea, if they have a kernel of something where, they can do something a little different, I say go for it. If anything, though, for the next Doom, what I want is, maybe this combat comes back, but I want that exploratory sort of Metroidvania aspect to be expanded on. I don't know. I think they have something cool with that. Even with the, I wasn't the biggest fan of the vehicle missions, but even with the dragon in the last game, in the base game, that idea of being able to fly over this whole map and land at these particular points, and then they turn into mini levels, that concept to me is I think something that they need to explore a little further too. So for me, it's I want a more not necessarily open world, but I think a more expansive, interconnected game would be really, really interesting to see, and them kind of shake it up how they do their mission structure. But as far as combat, if they have an idea, go for it. If not, iterate on this and make it better. Because this is the best Doom combat I've ever experienced. Personally, I'm obsessed.
Would you guys like to see? I'll keep this question going, but I want to interject with. Would you guys like them to keep the melee focus? Because I really like the up close melee option. Heavy falters, big stabs. I really like that. I would like to see them carry forward with that.
Yeah.
I feel like it could definitely be improved upon a lot somehow.
Yeah.
I personally say no, but although totally unrelated, and you could even cut this, but I think it's hysterical that Eternal made a big deal about the Crucible, a melee weapon, and both in Dark Ages and in Revelations, we still don't have the freaking Crucible as a melee weapon.
Right.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so funny. It's not a major critique. It's just it's really weird that there was a melee weapon Eternal that didn't show up in Dark Ages.
Well,
but,
lore-wise, I don't think he has it yet. It hasn't been made.
I think if they're going to continue with this storyline in the Dark Ages, I guess, he might have it as one of the main weapons in the next game if they're going to go that route.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, Mayo, I do want them to do new stuff, because I think every time they do a new thing, that's interesting. And of course, you can always just go back and play the old games. I don't need Eternal 2. I don't need Dark Ages 2. We have those games, so why, we don't need the sequels necessarily, or the same thing. When Dark Ages was like announced and coming out, I had been speculating and I was very wrong. Because Eternal had like two systems that they explored, but not fully. They had faltering, which they basically did for Dark Ages with the harrying the Marauder and the other like enemies from Tag 1, Tag 2. And the other thing that Eternal had that they didn't explore too much was the weak points, where you had them, but like there was only a couple enemies that really like mattered with the weak points. And I wanted to see more of a bullet hellish game where you had to like dodge more fire than like parrying. And I really wanted like, and I had a specific example, but like I wanted to in Eternal, it was like, oh, you see an Arachnotron turret, you blow it up, it's easier. But I kind of wanted to see more like, not making the enemies easier, but different. And the idea I had was like, Carcasses had the energy shield, but then they also had that like Beyblade spin. What if shooting the back made them not be able to generate the shield, but they put them into like literally like super Beyblade mode, like when the high FPS bullshit happened in the first like month of Eternal. But like I wanted to see more of the weak point system be integrated into Dark Ages as like a central focus, and they actually abandoned it entirely, which I get, different game, but I was a little disappointed in that myself. So I kind of want to see that sort of system explored more in a future game.
Yeah, especially with the player creativity of Dark Ages, like it'd be interesting if you could use that against other demons or like use that in your attacks. Like that would be really fun to see.
We have it to a degree in that we have the Mancubus SSG. You like take off his arm and it falters and disables. We have that, and now we have with Revelations we have Spear Toss on Kako. Also, Pain Elemental I think does a good job of what you're talking about, Bloodshot, where it's not a weak point, but if you use explosives against him, you'll take out his skulls. Like I like that they're kind of introducing that aspect. Sorry, I was talking over you.
No, sorry, I was talking with you. I apologize. I agree with you, because Pain Elemental was like my favorite part of the DLC. I thought it was the perfect, like, you could throw that into any encounter, and the encounter suddenly became much more interesting. And, like, I thought Pain Elementals were great, because there were so many... Yeah. There wasn't one right way to deal with them. There was, like, 10 good ways to deal with them, which is true for a lot of enemies, but, like, Pain Elemental was just so good.
Yeah, versatile enemy. And it's not a weak point, but there are classes of demons that can be, you can throw the shield into them and it'll buzzsaw and it'll stick them in place. But there's higher enemies that you can't. So it's like there are specific strategies that can be used against certain enemies and not others. But I wouldn't call it a weak point, right? It's more of like a class differentiation.
I honestly think they shouldn't really focus on making a new game at all. I think they should go back to Doom Eternal and make the Ancient Gods Part 3.
Oh, yeah? You think that's going to happen?
Yeah, I think that's a way better idea,
But first master levels for Revelations.
Yes.
Hear me out. Doom 2016 remade an Eternals engine.
Wow.
No, Unreal Engine 6. That's a way more stable engine than id Tech.
id Tech 2. id Tech 2.
Like, I always advocate for them, going in bold new directions, following their hearts. I believe that if they're making something that they are inspired by, then we're going to get something good. At the end of the day, that's how I feel about it, no matter how different it is. But the reason I want Revelations to inspire what comes next is because I like what Revelations offers so much, but it's not a full game.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. True. Like, I want the entire Revelations style game. I want the 13 level campaign, and we don't have it. So I wish we could get a full game that is not necessarily a copy of Revelations, but maybe takes the melee system, takes the spear and the shield and lots of enemies, but adds some new mechanics into it, changes how some things work. Maybe we don't have the gauntlets, but we have something else that's melee focused. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, remix it and make a whole game based on that. It's something that I would love, because I don't feel like I've gotten enough of this new experience that I love so much.
I can see
think
that.
It's a really big shame as well that it's a DLC. I remember thinking when I finished it, like, oh, why wasn't the base campaign like this? But the base campaign and the shield also has its merits, obviously.
Yeah, and the DLC couldn't have existed without what they did.
No, that's true as well.
So the base campaign never could have been Revelations, just like 2016 could have never been Eternal. One had to come first, but Revelations could have waited a year or two and just been its own game if they didn't have to put out a DLC for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have felt new enough, even if it looked similar to Dark Ages and it used the same engine. I feel like a lot of people would still be satisfied with it.
Yeah, I would have.
Yeah.
I had one question for Kirk.
Yeah.
This is more of a you and me style question. I wanted to know what the hardest part of your review process was for the DLC.
Ooh, that's a great question. I mean, the writing process is always the toughest part for me, and just like trying to. That review was damn near almost a 45-minute. I think it was actually a 45-minute plus review.
It was very well done.
Thank you a lot. Thank you very much. Yours as well. I honestly think just trying to cut stuff down, and then I've been trying to make my hooks a little better. So I think that, but. You know, frankly, I think it's just like getting through the whole dang game, getting through footage, and then probably writing. I spend the most of my time on writing. I'm an editor by trade, so that stuff is kind of okay. But like the writing and the VO is always the hardest on every video. I'm constantly tweaking and cutting stuff down and making sure I'm not getting too. I'm not like over complicating what I'm saying. Trying to get it simpler. And the time I had to get that endgame video out was way tighter than I expected, just with other stuff going on in my life. So that was the tough one. The endgame video I had to grind on and crunch a bit on. So yeah, for that particular, yeah. But otherwise, across the board, usually just the writing process is always the hardest one for me. I'm very, I don't know, I'm very critical about how I write and record my voice. So yeah. What about for you?
Oh, mine was just the clip organization.
Yeah.
I think I had over 400 video clips captured and so categorizing them all into what they all represented was just a nightmare.
Oof. Especially you're on Premiere, right? So I've been rocking DaVinci right now, and their keyword system was very helpful for that in sorting specifics. That is, yeah. But
I feel like I don't necessarily want to get into it because it's depressing, but I mean, what do we have to say about the current situation at id? Like, how do we feel that's going to affect the series going forward? I mean, it sucks, but it just kind of makes me sad, right? Like, but does anyone want to comment on it before we close the podcast?
I would, but I feel like I only have very mean and negative things to say about how things are being run over at Microsoft. I think it's a completely ridiculous clown show over there, and that's as far as I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
I'm switching to a Mog OS, so you should all do the same.
What? Oh yeah.
You're switching to a Mogwai?
What? I can paste the link if you want.
Okay.
go for it.
sweet.
If you're looking at the industry from the inside, it is rough. Because it's not just Microsoft, it's everyone, and even not even gaming. It's software as a whole is just kind of in the trash right now, and it's mostly just executive decisions, and that's just really unfortunate. Because I feel like at some point it's going to catch up where it's like no one's going to be able to make good games, even at these big studios, because the people who would be able to make them just aren't there.
They're shutting down studios that make good games as well. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I don't care if there was a really good reason for them to do the layoffs, which I don't think there were. But even in the assumption that there was, it was 2 days before the release of the DLC?
Yes.
A day.
It was a day, man.
It was a day. They couldn't even let them wait a week, be like, let them celebrate their victory. They got to, no, a day before. That is just.
It was cruel. It was very cruel, and it made it so much worse. It made me so much angrier.
Yeah.
Well, from what I could understand, there was also the thing that when they looked at Bethesda, they pretty much not Bethesda as the one with all of the companies, but Bethesda, the game studio itself. From what I've heard, they've pretty much been sitting on their asses. That's why Elder Scrolls 6 has taken so long. So what I think is so weird is that id Software got gutted instead of them, because they're not doing anything right now. They weren't doing anything, and that's why another Fallout game was handed to Obsidian, because Asher Sharma was like, well, we need another Fallout game, because Fallout is a popular brand right now, but Bethesda had just been doing nothing.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if that's completely accurate, but yeah.
It leaves me. I'm similar to Mayo. It just makes me sad. I don't think anybody deserves this. No studio deserves this to happen, especially when like it's software. I don't think I'm confident they're going to get another Doom out. I'm terrified of what that development's going to be like for them, just in terms of. I just put out a video or a whole story about this in my State of the Boom, where I kind of delved into it and kind of looked into it and have my own speculations, but also cited some sources of what is going on. And it looks like whatever they're doing next is, they're going to have a lot of outsourcing for it, and that already seems like an uphill battle, especially with Microsoft's contractor policies, which is, they only keep contractors on for 18 months and then roll them off for 6 months. So presumably bringing people in, teaching them mid tech, and then getting them into the flow of that. I don't know. It seems, as opposed to a team of highly skilled people that have been working together for 10 years, it just, I don't know. It seems odd to me. There's also the matter of, it kind of seems like a lot of the people who were let go were a part of the union. So I do have a lot of questions in regard to that.
Yeah.
But at the moment, there's only stuff I can speculate on, but it just, there's some kind of fuckery going on with it. It just, that's all I can kind of lean on. And in general, broadly, this sort of policy Microsoft is going with, because I make the point in the video on it of saying like, hey, anybody left in the Microsoft ecosystem right now, they are seen as having value, and they Microsoft wants more of their games. So this idea of like, hey, we're gonna get more of these best franchises out, but do it cheaper. I mean, I get that probably looks good to investors and on spreadsheets, but it just, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a recipe for success to me personally. I hope I'm wrong for the sake of their people and their products, but yeah, it's horrible.
Well, a key ingredient, especially of these Doom games, that you can feel that like the people who have been there for so long that like actually care about the series, and they really, you can feel the passion and inspiration that's put into the work. And if the industry is in a place right now where approaching the months before the game launches, it's a coin flip as to whether you're going to be fired right before it launches. Doesn't that fear affect your work going forward?
Totally.
Right? If you're working on a project, you're like, oh, this is a cool project, but I'm probably going to be fired right before it comes out or right after it comes out. That's gotta affect you.
Well, lest we forget, there are 1,600 more. Sorry, there are 1,600 more people set to be let go in the course of next fiscal year. So it's like, how do you work well with that? There's no way. There's no way.
And what about next year, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
But when I was playing the DLC for the first time and playing those flashback missions where you're old Doom guy with just that shotgun, it felt really good. And I couldn't help but imagine, what if they made this kind of game but with the full classic Doom arsenal, and they wouldn't have to remake Doom specifically, but what if we got a stripped down, very old school feeling Doom game with the big id Software budget? Because those flashback scenes, they felt really good. I don't know what you guys think.
See, that might be the way to go. With the smaller studio
cool.
now, I feel like that would be a way more achievable goal, or maybe like something similar to a Doom remake where there's an actual like more coherent story. Maybe, I don't know, something along those lines.
Maybe, I don't know. I say just make it in UZ Doom and just do a whole new take. Make it like a Doom 64 type thing,
Oh yeah.
Bro,
There's definitely probably like a lot of cool things they can tell from that era that they showed off in those flashbacks, right?
Mm-hmm. It'd be interesting to see. I've often kind of wondered, just in terms of, I think the direction that Microsoft is going with some of their IP. Not a game, but I'm kind of convinced that some sort of Doom TV something might be on the horizon, mostly just because they're doing it with Wolfenstein right now. So I'm curious if maybe some of those stories could be told, in a smaller screen type capacity.
I'd love to see an animated series of the Doom guy when he washes up on the shores of Argentinor. From the moment he's taken in, and then his rise up through the ranks to become leader, and while also doing flashbacks to that show his experience as a Marine, and also going through his experience in Hell in the original Dooms.
Yeah.
I would give me a season of that. Give me the makers and everything. That would be really cool.
Oh, him meeting, I forget the name, but him basically meeting Samuel Hayden for the first time. I forget his real maker name, but like that kind of stuff. Maybe even whatever, because isn't there like a 13-year gap between 2016 and Eternal? Like, what's that story? Like, how did he get the Fortress of Doom? To this day, I'm still like...
I don't think they're ever going to tell us. I don't think they're ever going to tell us.
Yeah, I don't think so. One thing I would love, I don't know if you guys saw all of like the leaked Doom 4 stuff, but like a lot of the models and animations for those were being shown, and some of them were really cool. There was one where it was like a demon like cuts a body in half and then takes the upper half, and like it's now a double-sided demon. And then it like takes a third demon, and then it's walking on the two like front halves while shooting you. It's like really well done stuff. And I was like, I'm glad we got Doom 2016, but I kind of want to see what Doom 4 was going to be like. So I would actually be interested in seeing them kind of like flesh that design out now with like more with the chops that they have from, 2016 Eternal Dark Ages, and then try to like, let's go back to that Doom 4 that we were going to do and make it right. Because I think that'd be kind of interesting to see.
It did look like, wow. It did look really interesting.
It's I mean, that's almost what the flashbacks felt like to me.
Oh yeah, now that you mention it. Yeah. Does feel very similar.
Well, guys, it's been, an hour and 20 minutes or so. So how about we end it here? How about we end it with everyone saying what their upcoming plans are, whether it's Doom or other projects. Bloodshot, go.
So I guess I'm probably contractually obligated to say I'm working on Gloomwood, so look forward to that. But other than that, I mean, I want to get back into speedrunning Eternal. I've been like, I'm overdue for a PB, so I really need to get that like done at some point. Other than that, I don't know. Project-wise, I'm pretty like, I'm kind of just wiped right now after all the QuakeCon stuff. So I'm gonna spend the next month just chilling. And because I like to plug it, everybody who likes books should read Worm, parahumans.net. It's really good. That's all I can say.
Is it by you?
No, it is not.
Oh.
I'm just a really big fan. It's just a really good book. Like it's a web serial. I'm not gonna go into the whole spiel. Just it's really, really good.
Worm.
Worm. WORM.
Okay.
You know what? Mayo, I'm sending you a link after this. Flash it on screen.
Okay. Yeah, I will. Okay. Hyper, what are you working on? What are your plans going forward?
Yeah, I currently want to get a timed Ultra Nightmare run so I can upload it to speedrun.com. And after that, I'd like to do Max Sliders UN for the DLC, but with the current state of the game just isn't, with the rocket launcher bug.
It isn't friendly to it?
Yeah, no. I would argue it's almost impossible. It's like you're gonna want to self-heal a lot. You'll just end up doing like 200 damage to yourself with a rocket. That's just, just not desirable.
Not desirable. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, after that, I don't know. Probably I'm just gonna mess with some Repertorium presets. Maybe I'll make one that's so hard that it takes months to beat. Some shit, I don't know. And actually, not many people know this, but 2 years ago, I've had a damageless Sirius Sam 3 run. So I'm probably gonna work on another Sirius Sam game, route no damage. And who knows? Maybe I'll get one by the end of the year.
Well, good luck to you with that. Kirk, what's coming up on the channel?
Well, probably at the end of the month, probably my State of the Boom, which is my monthly FPS and game release recap, which I've tried to make more and more of a thing. But otherwise, I desperately need to finish my Splinter Cell Blacklist review retrospective. There is a sect of my community that's ready to kill me over that, so that's probably going to be a focus. However, this Quake expansion is really good, and I kind of want to talk about that too. So probably either one of those. And then beyond that, probably some more reviews. I am hoping to do some more Doom content because Revelations has inspired me to do more Doom content, and yeah, that's about it for me at the moment. So
Maybe it's like some Think Beast stuff, some
Yes.
classic analysis.
Yes. I'll tell you this much. I've really wanted to do a video on Doom 64 for a while, so I'm hoping to do that by the end of the year, but we'll see.
If you do that, make sure to include the Brutal Doom 64 because that's a really cool experience.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Use it as a comparison. It's really fun. All right, and Hmmmp, what's going on with you in the future?
Well, I am planning on making my magnum opus soon. How Doom the Dark Ages Revelations ruined God of War Laufey.
Yes.
God, I will never escape that.
No, you won't.
No notes. Flawless.
No, but I'll probably be doing what I'm usually doing. I don't really have a plan for my channel. I just kind of upload whatever I want usually, and yeah, sometimes it gets views and sometimes it doesn't. You know, that's just how it goes for me. Yeah,
That's how it goes for anybody doing this.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what other Doom stuff I could talk about right now. I'm just kind of focusing on Ultra Nightmare. I'm working on some RoboCop stuff for the channel. So.
Yay.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, guys, it was a pleasure. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for everyone in the scene for tuning in and listening. We hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about the people that you follow and watch in this community. It's a small community, but it's one that has a big love for the games that we're getting. Yeah, everybody say goodbye at the same time. 3, 2, 1.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.